Well, joining me now via Skype from Bulawayo, Zimbabwe is Zenzele Ndebele, a journalist, to tell us more about the funeral of the former Zimbabwean president. Now, Zenzele, what is the mood now in Zimbabwe, and what are the reactions there?
Well, there is always a mixed reaction when it comes to Robert Mugabe. There are some people who are really sad of his passing on and the confusion that surrounds his burial. And to other people, it's just life as normal because he has been out of power for 2 years now, and many people did not like him. That's why they marched for his removal. So it's quite a mixed reaction with some people going by their normal business and really they don't care what's going on.
All right, let's go to the African continent. Now, African leaders are there trying to pay their tributes now. What have you heard them say about the leader, Robert Mugabe?
Yes, it was really a great turnout for African leaders from Nigeria, South Africa, DRC, and most of them actually current and former presidents came into Zimbabwe to pay their just respects. Those who spoke at the memorial actually gave praise to Robert Mugabe, someone who was principled, someone who fought for the landless Zimbabweans, and someone who really contributed a lot in the liberation of Zimbabwe, Africa, and someone who wanted to see a united Africa. Mugabe played a big role in the AU as well as in the SADC. So many African countries have good memories and actually feel that the death of Robert Mugabe has robbed them of one of the leaders who was really a great man.
All right, yes, he played a huge role in the unity of the African continent and in ensuring that Africa has its rightful place in the world. Now, so what will Zimbabweans miss about this leader?
I'm sure one of the things that they will miss is his great oratory skills. He was a good speaker, his good command of English, and the way he was expressing himself was actually what many people would remember him of. In terms of his leadership qualities in Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe was not really seen as a good man. He presided in Zimbabwe for quite a long time, which led to the collapse of economy and shortages of many things, with resulting over 3 million Zimbabweans actually live in Zimbabwe to go and look for jobs in other countries. And his legacy in terms of human rights was not that good. So a lot of people would like to forget very quickly about Robert Mugabe when it comes to his leadership style and his human rights record.
Yes, a lot of people want to forget about his leadership style because of the issues that happened in the last days towards his ouster. Now, what can African leaders learn from the life of the late former president, Robert Mugabe?
I think they need to learn that if you're a good leader, as he was in the first years of independence, you don't need to overstay. I think 2 terms or less is enough. Actually, the other thing that African leaders should learn to invest in is in public hospitals. President Robert Mugabe, great as he was, he died in a foreign land because he was seeking for medical attention, but he built a huge mansion. When he was sick, that mansion could not give him medical attention. I think African leaders need to invest in their infrastructure when it comes to schools, when it comes to hospitals, at least learn to die in their own countries. We have a lot of great African leaders who end up dying in exile. So they need to know when to leave the stage so that their legacy can be preserved, and many African people will talk good about them. And most importantly, they need to invest in infrastructure in their countries while they are still in power.
Well, Zenzele Ndebele, thank you very much for talking to us on this, on the life and times of Robert Mugabe.